but very nervous, very anxious, because it's telling my deepest, darkest portion of my life. I still have a lot of fear. I'm still working through my guilt and my shame. I'm a survivor of Jeffrey Epstein.
What did you fear? That maybe somebody wouldn't believe me? His control was beyond what most people experience. It wasn't just, somebody said, do you want to go give somebody a massage?
There's so much more to it.
Yes. I'm Ashley, and I'm a survivor, Jeffrey Epstein.
Where are you at in your healing journey?
I don't really know how to answer that.
What did Jeffrey Epstein steal from you?
Oh my God.
I was recruited at a very young age.
The allegation that an assembly line of young women from this area.
Jeffrey Epstein was arrested Saturday and will be charged with federal sex crimes.
Some of the girls were as young as 16.
They were recruited for Epstein.
A deeply disturbing pattern of predatory sexual abuse.
The court allowed the details of his crimes to be sealed.
Institutional systems have failed survivors.
While the rich and powerful remained protected by redaction, my name was exposed to the world.
He had sexually abused dozens of children, including me.
More than 1,200 girls and women. I was trafficked.
I was subject to ongoing rape.
I was groomed.
I was groomed by him.
He was grooming me. It is so calculated.
We still don't have justice.
You are not alone, and this was not your fault.
I think that Palm Beach will be forever known as two different things. It'll be known as the home of Jeffrey Epstein and the home of the president.
When I drive over that bridge, it's a whole new world. Palm Beach is wealthy, but also exclusive. They have an expectation of privacy, certainly. And with their money, they can afford to buy that. Everything is pristine, everything, they're very high edges. It's like everything is also hidden.
It's kind of like pulling back the cover to some really disgusting world that exists that a lot of people don't realize or think about.
I never thought that I would still be talking about Jeffrey Epstein today.
You have to understand that this didn't occur today. This occurred 20 years ago. I was a kid.
Jeffrey Epstein went to jail just before 10 this morning. He pleaded guilty in open court.
Literally mind-blowing. I was just shocked. I couldn't believe what I was hearing in the news. Fast forward to today, it doesn't stop shocking me.
At that time, did people believe these survivors?
They didn't know what to believe. It was about 2007, 2008. I was working as a licensed therapist at Palm Beach County Victim Services when I worked with the girls back then, and just I wish I could explain to you what their faces looked like.
What do you mean?
How sad, how scared. They were so afraid that they were in trouble, regardless of being sexually abused and manipulated.
These young girls are now adults, And they learned at a very early age that the system doesn't protect children. My client was one of the original complainants. She was victim 1.
40 victims gave their statements. Unfortunately, what happened is they lessened the charges to child prostitution. And because of that, the public started questioning the validity of the stories of the victims at the time.
The prosecutor in charge of the proceedings treated them like criminals. In fact, asked them if they knew they were criminals.
Epstein will serve 12 months of community service at his own nonprofit.
And what some call a sweetheart deal.
It was a sweetheart deal. If they'd launched the charges that the Palm Beach police recommended, would have been decades behind bars. He probably would have died behind bars. He also got 4 of his co-conspirators, named co-conspirators, given immunity.
Palm Beach multimillionaire once again making headlines, Jeffrey Epstein.
Well, in July of 2019, Epstein was arrested on sex trafficking charges up in New Jersey.
Did anyone see that coming?
I don't think so.
I couldn't believe that there was more girls. And that's when I realized, like, oh my God, this is so much bigger than I ever thought.
Multi-millionaire Jeffrey Epstein has died by suicide in his jail cell.
This is one of the most secure prisons in the United States. This is where we held one of the first World Trade Center bombers. The fact that he was allowed to die there is very unbelievable, at the least.
How did you feel when he died?
Angry. Because I'll never see justice.
An alleged co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell, was arrested.
She was bringing victims to the slaughter, so to speak.
Ghislaine Maxwell recruited girls. She went to massage schools. She went to parks. She stood outside of high schools.
And without a Ghislaine Maxwell, there would have never been a Jeffrey Epstein.
Where does the work still need to be done to support these survivors and their journey to heal?
Well, for God's sakes, justice. How about it?
I have a lot of faith in our justice system, but that's been eroded. The number of times that survivors have been denied justice is just mind-boggling.
It's a life sentence. It is. I don't think anybody can say that they're the same person they were before they met him.
What did Jeffrey Epstein steal from you?
He stole my life. No. It was like rain. I was very good at pushing it away, staying in denial.
Is this the first time you are talking about your story in this way?
Yes.
There's a reason why we're not seeing your face.
I still have a lot of fear of multiple people taking my story, twisting it, and using it to further themselves. I'm speaking now because of the young girls in my life and all the young girls out there. I want to give them as much knowledge as I can and help. I'm 40 years old, and I was 16 when I met Jeffrey Epstein. I was active. I was a cheerleader. I loved being outdoors, hanging out with my friends.
You were a normal kid.
Yes, I mean, I think at 16 I was, experimenting with, little things, but that was, I felt like that was 16.
How did you first meet Jeffrey Epstein?
I was introduced to him by somebody that I was hanging out with. I have a friend that will give money if you go in and give a massage. We drove to his house in Palm Beach. I just remember the doors to the back open, breeze coming through. It was very welcoming. Everybody was very friendly. He came in, I think he was in a towel. I felt like he sensed that I was nervous. And he reassured me, and everything was light. Like, no big deal. This is every day. This is normal. Asked if I ever had a massage, if I had ever given a massage. Asking about me, showed an interest in me because he was gaining my trust. He was grooming me.
What is the one detail you cannot get past that you remember clearly?
His smirk. It won't go away.
Where are people getting it wrong?
I think that they're not understanding what grooming is. The people that say, "Oh, I was 16, I would have known better." You're probably one of the ones that it would have happened to.
Does grooming take on a new meaning almost when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein?
Oh, Jeffrey Epstein wrote the book on grooming. So his goal was to learn about each girl, right? Learn about their goals, their dreams, their families, so he can find a way to make them feel special.
Did he make you feel important?
He did.
How?
By what appeared to be a genuine interest. Asked how I'm doing in school. Am I staying on track to, going to college and doing well? He said, you're gonna do great things. You have a lot of potential. It was all lies. It was all lies.
He wrote college reference letters for an individual. He promised another girl that she wanted to be a model. Well, he's got connections in Paris. All of it adds up to control, and control is the last step.
How did Epstein keep control of everything?
Well, continuing this wonderful relationship, right? This illusion of a relationship, which creates confusion. There's a little bit of excitement. I mean, they're in a mansion. And this wealthy, powerful man wants to see me, wants to see me and wants to know about me. And then to further the relationship, well, why don't you bring your friends? Bring your friends, let them be a part of it, and you'll get more money.
Where is the public getting it wrong?
That they knew what they were doing and that they kept going back because they wanted the money.
Did these teens really have a choice?
No, because they didn't know they were being manipulated. We're so focused on what did these victims do, rather than what did Jeffrey Epstein do? How much did he have to manipulate each of these girls to have them come back?
That's a good boy. The guilt and the shame. Oh my gosh. I think that's the worst part. That's why I feel like people need to know about grooming.
What are your words for your 16-year-old self?
Oh. My gosh. I'm sorry. It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
Well, good morning, everyone. I want to begin by opening up this hearing.
In May of 2026,
And our committee, of course, has been leading on this.
Democrats on the House Oversight Committee held a field hearing in West Palm Beach, Florida.
We're launching a new phase of our Epstein investigation.
I think what happened in that room that day was just a testament to one of the many themes of this entire saga, and that's when you think you know everything about the Jeffrey Epstein case, there's more.
I was 14 years old when I was abused by Jeffrey Epstein.
When I was 14 years old, I was abused by Jeffrey Epstein.
She was only 16 years old, a child who had just finished 10th grade when she began being trafficked.
For the following 3 years, I was subject to ongoing rape.
I am one of more than 1,200 girls and women.
The DOJ continues to withhold half of the Epstein files have not been released to the public.
I came here today to ask for one simple thing, to make sure this never happens again.
We have seen a systemic breakdown in their protection at nearly every step of the way. Every one of these failures sends a devastating message, not only to Epstein survivors, but to survivors everywhere, that accountability is optional for the powerful. The passage of the Epstein Files Transparency Act was a moment in which survivors hoped and believed that we might see some reckoning. But the system yet again failed survivors.
The Department of Justice released documents that exposed our names, our social security numbers, and deeply personal information.
On one document, my nickname, Danny, redacted, while Danielle Hannah Bensky is left completely unredacted. I am just one of the hundreds of survivors exposed like this.
Husbands learned about their wives' abuse for the first time.
I kept my identity protected as Jane Doe. I woke up one day with my name mentioned over 500 times. While the rich and powerful remained protected by redaction, my name was exposed to the world.
Children learned about the abuse of their mothers from reporters, from strangers on the internet, and in some cases, from other kids at school.
These documents hold disturbing and yet incomplete accounts of my abuse, and they were viewable not only by the entire world, but my child, my students, my students' parents, my friends, my employers.
I cannot live without looking over my shoulder. Releasing my name while redacting the name of other powerful is not a mistake, it's a choice. It's a choice to prioritize the comfort of an institution over the safety of the survivors.
This outing of survivor names does real, irrevocable damage.
Everyone in that room was hanging on their every word. It was heartbreaking. It was one of those stories that you listen to and then you realize as you're listening to it, oh, I forgot to breathe.
My focus with the files was, holy why are all my clients' personal identifying information and stories unredacted? And they're being re-victimized over and over and over again, which is making it difficult to cope. I think that some women felt that they didn't have the choice but to tell their stories at this point.
It's my favorite place. It makes me feel better, and now I'm realizing the grounding effect and just connecting to something that just lives without any interruption.
Is nature healing for you?
Yeah. The connection that these creatures have that go through so much adversity just trying to survive, I think. It's a sea turtle. It's a sea turtle. I've just started the healing process. When I was 15, I was going to Summit Christian. It was a very small school. We were just normal teenagers. You know, we would ride around on a Saturday night in whoever could drive's car, hang out at friends' houses, go to the beach, go kayaking. I was on the cheerleading squad. I had a job. A coworker of mine, one day he asked me if I wanted to make $200 to go massage this old guy that was his friend on Palm Beach. And I said, sure. I thought, what's the worst that could happen? I remember my eyes hurt because it was so white and I didn't have sunglasses on. And so the sunlight was just reflecting the whole outside of the house. His assistant came in the kitchen and then she walked me through his bedroom into his bathroom, and he was in the shower and there was a massage table in the middle of his bathroom.
The abuse happened right then, day one meeting Jeffrey Epstein.
It didn't take very long after he flipped over for things to escalate. But at that point, what am I supposed to do? I was just frozen and waiting for it to be over.
What was that drive home like?
I felt a lot of disgust and fear and confusion, what just happened. I did go back one time because I had convinced myself that it was a fluke. There was some small talk as he was in between instructions and in between the inappropriate questions. Of course, leading up to the inappropriate actions, it's like, how have you been? Pick one of these. How's your family? Do you know how to use it? But once things really started, there was no more anything, and he was much more demanding.
Ashley, were you terrified?
Yeah. Yeah, at that point I knew I was wrong the first time, that it wasn't a fluke, and I just wanted to get out of there as quickly as possible. My personal home life was hard at times, and I think if it wasn't, I wouldn't have ended up there.
Do you think he sought out people like that?
I have no doubt. I remember I became very withdrawn and very angry, and I would just be mean to people at my school for no reason. I got put on academic probation from the cheerleading squad, started really hanging out with the wrong people, and I ended up pregnant at 17 just before I turned 18, which probably saved me.
People need to understand that there are severe long-term effects to grooming and sexual abuse. Making excuses, low self-esteem, anger at themselves. Another major theme, self-blame. Self-blame, shame, and guilt.
That's something you hear from the survivors over and over again?
Over and over and over to this day. Some people having relationship problems, problems with family members, parenting. They're trying so hard to settle down in their lives while, seeing pictures of their abuser every single day. So I'm here to say it is not their fault. How can we blame a 14-year-old girl for her actions with an adult, wealthy, powerful man who knew exactly what he was doing?
I'm just starting to really learn what effects it's had on me. I tell you, it doesn't help seeing his face everywhere for 6 years.
Does talking about it help?
It does. For a long time, I did try to erase it. I wanted to pretend it didn't happen, and I got to a point where I couldn't ignore it anymore and push it away, and I had to just start dealing with it. Talking about it and fighting about it.
For a long time, I stayed silent because I was afraid.
It's hard to realize that you had someone in your community that got missed, that had to go through this experience because of failures in the system in our community.
Even though the government had evidence that he had sexually abused dozens of children, including me.
They didn't have to tell their stories. They didn't have to tell the heartbreaking impacts of this case on them, but they did.
You don't want history to repeat itself. We need to be talking about it.
Laura Cusack. I'm the Director of Programs at the Human Trafficking Coalition of the Palm Beaches. Human trafficking is essentially where people are being forced to do something they wouldn't normally do, whether it be sex, engage in commercial sex acts, or being forced to work. And you have elements that are present, force, fraud, and coercion, that traffickers will utilize to get someone into the situation, keep them in there.
I knew that my visa was linked to him, and if he is unpleased, I would be sent back.
I think at the most basic level, 20 years ago, there was not education on this. People didn't understand what it was. And so that lack of awareness really affected everything from identification to service delivery to just believing the victims in the first place. We hear, I think even from some of the survivors, about being told that, you'll be arrested. I mean, a prostitute is seen as a criminal, right?
What did you fear?
Everybody would blame me, that I would be in trouble. If you have that expectation, you've been told that if you go get help, that's how you're going to be treated. Are you going to go get help? No.
I was first subpoenaed in 2008 for an interview. I was just 20 years old, and for many parts of my interview, it felt like an interrogation.
Let's call it what it is. No longer a child prostitute, it's a victim of sex trafficking.
I hope my story and the others, if one person is able to recognize when they're in that situation, it'll make it all worth it.
There's been so much change as a result of increased awareness with policy.
The survivors of Jeffrey Epstein deserve to be heard.
There's been such a push to listen to survivors, put them at the forefront, and take what they're saying and implement it into these systemic changes.
Education is important. If we can't take these bad guys off the streets, let's teach our kids how to protect themselves.
In Florida, we've been a leader in the country in terms of implementing some of those changes, requiring trainings for a lot of frontline staff. So hotel staff, school staff, nurses, medical staff, massage therapy, dental staff, all required to get human trafficking training now in Florida. And that's huge. Now we have task forces and coalitions established. You've got multiple FBI, HSI, local law enforcement all working together in the same location to work these cases, and that has improved communication and response to victims.
All of the progress that you discussed, what role do you think the Epstein case played in any of that?
The Epstein case definitely expedited, I feel like, the progress in the sense that, first of all, it brought a lot of awareness to the issue quickly, really showed people this can happen here. And really from that, I think there was more buy-in.
Do I feel like victims from today moving forward have better systems in place? No, I don't. I don't at all. People don't understand, and they're asking the wrong questions.
You know, they ask, why did you go back? Why would you think that that's okay? Why didn't you tell anybody? And they say, well, you got paid, didn't you?
It sounds like there's still work that needs to be done. What do you think we still need to do?
Still listen to survivors. They have been very vocal about what they want.
Take responsibility and provide meaningful remedies to the women who have been harmed over and over again.
There has to be more education on what grooming is, on what sex trafficking is.
We have to change the system, and we have to change the way the public perceives this case. Listen to the survivors. Do your job. If your job is to, follow the law and release the files, do your job. Release the files. If your job is to investigate and prosecute, do your job. If you work in a setting with children, your job is to keep them safe. Take that step to educate yourself and then educate the child. Same thing as parents. Our job is to protect our kids. We can't keep our head in the sand.
Evidence that points to a network, not just two people who trafficked and abused over 1,200 victims. Girls, children, women, and boys.
Prosecute the rest of these people.
It appears to show copies of passports.
The DOJ admitted that it withheld.
Who is fighting for you?
Too much noise.
And with that, I yield.
Thank you, and I yield back.
I will yield.
I yield back.
I yield back.
I yield back.
Too much noise, and I feel that all of this noise contaminates the true narrative of what happened to these survivors.
What can we all do so that does not happen?
Believe what the survivors are telling you. Believe them. It took so much for each survivor to speak out and tell their story in public.
They don't need to be pointing the finger, aha, you were 17, you should never have gone. That needs to go away. The victim shaming, the victim blaming.
Even hearing the facts of the case, it just seemed incredible to me. It didn't make sense. We didn't believe it. Over the years in looking at these cases, a lot of what I have learned is that you have to believe victims first.
People need to stop asking what, and people need to start asking what.
People need to stop asking where our parents were, as if we were all 8-year-old children who needed to be supervised at all times. And people need to stop asking why we went back without trying to understand the answer when it comes from us.
There's still that feeling in the back of their minds of, well, what was my role? It's not them to blame. And we don't want survivors taking responsibility for Jeffrey Epstein's actions.
I wish they would try and listen when we talk. And the girls that were underage that did recruit girls, they were brought in at a time when they couldn't have possibly understood what they were being asked to do, and they just didn't want to go through what they went through in that bedroom with him anymore.
It doesn't sit well with me for it to just, this is my trauma. I need to turn it around, and I have to make a negative a positive. I have to help somebody. I can't make everything I have gone through be it.
What's the moral of your survivor story?
I was the one that was victimized. I was naive, and that was on purpose. And it's other people that should have known better.
It's not your fault.
No.
Where are you at in that journey today?
I'd like to say that I can tell you I don't blame myself, and I don't have that guilt anymore. It's there, it will always be there, but I know it's his fault, and I'm trying to pick up the pieces, and I hope and pray that each one of us are able to find happiness and peace.
We're not telling other people's stories. We're telling our stories.
Your time and willingness to hear difficult truths matter. The best way to honor stories like ours is to stay informed and trust your gut. I hope hearing what we went through helps you recognize the warning signs of grooming and feel empowered to protect yourself and those around you. If my story can help even one person, then sharing it has purpose. Thank you.
To you, first, I want to say that no matter what, no matter how you feel or who's around you, you are so important. Life can feel so lonely and hard, but there is someone who wants to hear your story. If you've ever been in a situation like mine, I'm here. We all are. You're not alone. We can and will do what is in our power to help you. It's scary, we know. But telling someone who can do something about it is a first step in reclaiming the power that your abuser stole from you. We are trying so hard to make sure that these evil people do not get away with these crimes. And please remember, you are not alone.